Alright YouTube, what's up? Today we're going to do a special YouTube video. Today is going to be the men's USA basketball team of 1992. Hold on people, hold on. Sorry, that was a dumpster truck that passed by. It's going to be the men's USA basketball team of 1992 versus the dream team of 2012. You know, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. Of course, Magic Johnson as the leader of the 1992 basketball dream team. So it was Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas, and Charles Barkley, and a bunch of other basketball players like David Robinson was on this 1992 Olympic Dream basketball team. And they had some of the best basketball players of that time period. Where in 2012, we had Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul. We had, I think at one point, I think Blake Griffin was on that team. DeAndre Jordan, if I'm not mistaken. You know, so we're going to compare the past versus the present in this season finale. You know, we got to talk about the Olympics because in 2020, the Olympics will be coming back around. And it gives me an idea for a all-new original series where we get to finally talk about basketball in the Olympics, boxing, martial arts, weight training, soccer, swimming, running. You name the sport, it'll be talked about in an all-original series. But we're talking about the season finale of basketball. I wanted to finish off the series before I move into hockey and some other stuff. Because I only did one video of hockey, and I still got like maybe 4 or 5 more videos of hockey I haven't even touched on yet. But I wanted to finish the series, and the best way to finish the series is to talk about the Olympic Dream Team of 1992 versus 2012. Now, there are going to be some basketball fans. They're going to say, well, you never talked about Russell Westbrook. You never talked about Carmelo Anthony. You never talked about Anthony Davis. And if I ever come back and make future videos on those basketball players, those names will be mentioned. I can't talk about every basketball player in the NBA. That would take too long. You know, most series last maybe 5 to 10 videos, maybe 15 videos at the most. So that's why. Now let's get into it. Now, what I like about the 1992 Olympic Dream Team is that they were very competitive. Every player on that team contributed. You know, you had players getting rebounds, blocks, assists, steals. It wasn't a one-man team. It was every player contribute, every player play, every player participate, no matter how big or how small your role was. Of course, Magic Johnson was the leader of this team. And if you've seen past documentaries of the 1992 Olympic Dream basketball team, you would know that Magic and Michael Jordan played each other 4 times in one-on-one, and Magic proved that if he wasn't injured in the 1991 NBA Finals, the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Chicago Bulls, he probably would have beaten Michael Jordan and won 6 championships. And of course, Magic won the first game, Michael won the second game. Magic took the third game, and Michael managed to, win the 4th game. So they ended up having to play 5 times instead of 4. And Magic eventually won the one-on-one series against Michael Jordan. And Michael will be the first one to tell you those were secret games that no one were to know about. And it wasn't until 25 years later that they would just now start telling us about these secret games that they had when they weren't playing against other countries. Larry Bird was on that basketball team. Yes, Larry Bird was on that team. And of course, every country that they played against, they beat. You know, Michael Jordan would put up his nice 20, 25 points. You know, Michael wasn't going around scoring 35, 45 points like he wanted to, because again, it was a team effort, not a one-man show. Patrick Ewing was good at getting blocks, rebounds, dunking the ball. You know, Patrick Ewing and David Robinson played like a combination like never seen before. You know, you couldn't get through their defenses, when it came to those 2 giants. You know, Charles Barkley came in. And, he got the elbows, and Charles was cold. First he was your best friend off the court, and when he got on the court, Charles Barkley went straight for your head. Stuffed the legend of Charles Barkley. So there we talked about Charles, so can't no one say you ain't talked about Charles Barkley's career. He had a good career in the Olympics, that's all I can tell you. Magic was getting down on the court. Magic was Magic. Magic would get his hook shots. Magic would make his free throws. And Larry Bird would just kill you with them three-pointers. Larry Bird kill you with three-pointers. Same thing with Isaiah Thomas, he would kill you. Karl Malone, get in the game. Karl Malone made sure you didn't even get a block. Karl Malone made sure you never got on the free throw line unless you got fouled first. Everyone contribute. And the fact that when Michael Jordan won Olympic gold medal, it put a nice little touch on his first half of his career. You win 3 NBA championships, or in this case, at that time, he had won 2 NBA titles, and he had finally got an Olympic gold medal when he done it. And Magic had won his 2nd Olympic gold medal. Larry Bird won his 2nd Olympic gold medal, and we got a chance to see this team thrive. The argument was if you ever could take all the best players in the whole world and put them together, they would not be able to function as a collective unit. Well, the Olympics was the first one to try that, and they were successful because they had to play in the Olympics for like almost 12 weeks. 12 weeks of 12 weeks of competing against countries like Bonds and Arma, Spain, China, Japan. That's when the NBA went to China and Japan, and that's when we got NBA China, and that's when we got NBA Europe. And fast forward 25 years later, you got all these players from foreign countries in today's NBA. Basketball players like Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Pej Stojakovic, Turkoglu, all these players that got funny names. If it weren't for what they did in 1992 with David Stern, today's NBA would be the same. So that gave birth to a new chapter in professional basketball. Now on the flip side, let's look at the 2012 basketball team. That team, you had LeBron James. That year LeBron James won an NBA championship, NBA MVP, and he had a chance to win his first Olympic gold medal. Now, LeBron had been on the Olympic basketball team before when they had Allen Iverson and Jason Kidd, but that was a time period where they had lost and they hadn't really won a gold medal. And at this point, they needed Kobe Bryant, and Kobe Bryant kind of became the quintessential leader. Kobe Bryant and Chris Paul kind of became the leaders of this team. LeBron James was leading with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, and this showcased what kind of players these guys were. Now, the problem I had with this team was they weren't taking their competition too serious. They would wait until they played against Spain or Brazil, and then they take their opponents serious. Whereas the 1992 Olympic Dream Team, no matter who they played against, no matter who they faced, they took every opponent serious. It didn't matter if you were the best team or the worst team, they played you serious. 2012, they waited until they played against Spain when they knew they was going to get a run for their money. And you could tell that there were moments in some of these games where you wanted to scream at some of the NBA players, scream at your TV screen and scream at LeBron James and say, come on, man, take this more serious. Same thing with the other players on the 2012 Olympic Dream Team. You wanted to take them just a little bit more serious. So I feel like that most of the time players would pretty much do this thing where they weren't taking it too serious, and they still won Olympic gold medal. And Carmelo Anthony turned out to be very good. For some reason in the Olympics, Carmelo Anthony was able to score 35, 45 points a game, whereas in the NBA we couldn't get Carmelo Anthony to do that on a high level. And someone discovered he plays better in this type of system than he does in the NBA. And it got us thinking maybe one day when his career is over, he could just play overseas since he thrives at higher levels. So can't no one say we ain't never mentioned Carmelo Anthony. I know people want me to talk about his whole career, but we're giving you some highlights of some players that should have been mentioned in the series, but were not mentioned in the series. Now, which team, if we were going to a time machine and take the 1992 Olympic Dream team and then take the team of 2012, who would win if they played each other 7 times? I'm going to say by 2 or 3 slight hairs, the Olympic team of 1992 that has Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, David Robinson, and let's not forget Patrick Ewing. That team would probably put a whooping on the 2012 Olympic basketball dream team. I mean, nothing against 2012, but LeBron James would have trouble trying to stop Magic Johnson simply because Magic would be able to know which position LeBron play. And even if LeBron could stop Magic, it'd be a situation where they would stop each other. As for Kobe would be trying to match up with Michael. And the rest of the players would be able to match up with each other. So Magic and LeBron would go at it. Kevin Durant would probably clash with David Robinson or Patrick Ewing, possibly Karl Malone. Karl Malone might match up with Carmelo Anthony, and the shooters, someone like a Tony Parker, which we know he plays on his own team on France. So we would probably have Chris Paul probably trying to shoot out with someone like Isaiah Thomas or Larry Bird, and the shootout would last long, but Larry Bird or Isaiah Thomas would probably outshoot Chris Paul, and Chris Paul might struggle towards the end. Where in the beginning he'll be fine, but in the end he would struggle. That's how the matchup. Now, the first game, 1992 Olympic Dream Team would take it. I mean, it would take it by maybe 5 points. It wouldn't be a blowout. It'd be like by 5. The second game would probably be, the Olympic Dream Team comeback. The third game, 92 takes it again. So I would see them play each other a total of 7 times. But in the end, the 1992 Olympic Dream Team wins for the sole fact that when it came to competition, they took all their opponents serious. Whereas if you look at the 2012 basketball Dream Team, they had a tendency that all the teams that they beat, they were easy to beat. But when it came to teams like Spain and Brazil, then they want to play serious and they want to play for real. And to me, you can't win Olympic gold medal unless you go all out 110%. That's like asking a girl out on a date, but you're not going all 100% with the girl. You keep going 50, 60% with the girl, and then you wonder why the girl doesn't want to cooperate with you later on in the future in a relationship. So I picked the 1992 Olympic Dream basketball team by 2 or 3 slight hairs over the 2012 team. So this is the season finale. I didn't want to make it too long. I didn't want to make it too short. Until then, peace.